The tale began with a massive asteroid named Agathis 616 coming on its way toward the Earth. It was destroyed using rockets, but the chemical fallouts caused all cold-blooded animals, such as snails and frogs, to mutate into giant, fierce monsters. This catastrophe caused human extinction as 95% of the population was wiped out in just a year. The small percentage of survivors hid in bunkers and caves all around the world, and they have been living there for the past 7 years. Joel, now 24, lives in one of the underground bunkers known as colonies. Except for him, everyone else here has found their soulmate. While fighting monsters and scavenging for supplies, Joel is assigned to work as a cook because he is known to freeze in risky situations. Joel is faced with a difficult situation when a massive ant infiltrates his colony and kills one of the survivors. Despite his fear, Joel is determined to help his friends and goes out to hunt the creature. When he finally spots the ant, he freezes, but is saved by a brave woman who takes matters into her own hands. The scene then switches back to 7 years ago, when Joel and Amy were in a car on top of a stunning hill in Fairfield, California, playing and enjoying their time together. However, the moment is cut short when the sirens start to blare, and we're brought back to the present. Joel then draws the creature in his diary before attempting to talk to Amy through the transceivers, but the signal gets lost. We're thrown into another retrospective scene, where the young couple must take their final goodbye as they separate and part with their families. Joel offers a promise to Amy that he will do whatever it takes to get her back to the jail again, even as everyone is arguing about how the giant ant got into the bunker and what they should do to prevent it from happening again. When asked how far away Amy's colony is, nobody takes Joel seriously at first, and they tell him he doesn't stand a chance of surviving. However, Joel is determined and starts packing, taking some resources and a radio. Everyone tries to stop him, but after seeing his dedication, the experienced people in the institution give him some advice, a map and a crossbow, and he sets off on a journey to reunite with Amy. After exiting the bunker, Joel takes his first deep breath of fresh air since the catastrophe. He struggles to read the map, so he decides to go in a random direction. Joel was wandering around in the backyard of a residence when he encountered a gigantic frog who tried to eat him. He froze up, but a stray dog named Boy appeared and saved him by biting the monster's tongue. Joel followed Boy to a bus, which was his hideout spot. Joel talked to Boy about Amy before falling asleep. When Joel left the bus in the morning, Boy took a red dress that belonged to his previous owner and decided to accompany him. During their journey, Joel wanted to eat some berries, but Boy barked at him to let him know they were toxic and he shouldn't eat them. Suddenly, Joel fell into a nest that was full of mutated worms and froze out of fear just before the creatures attacked. Fortunately, 2 strangers, Clyde and Minnow, came to the rescue and dropped a rope into the hole, allowing Joel to escape just in time. Then the little girl finishes them off with a hand grenade. We learn from Minnow that they converse with the creatures as sand gobblers. The duo then makes fun of Joel and informs him he was yelling like a little girl. Joel then asks them if he can continue his quest with them, and they agree. While walking, they suddenly stop and Clyde tells Joel not to move. It turns out a boulder snail is right behind him. Clyde tells Joel to take off his shirt and stay still. He places it on the snail's shell so that it spreads Joel's scent all around the hillside in order for them to be hard to track, and the creature moves on his way peacefully. Joel is taken aback by the scenario because he thought all of the monsters are aggressive and all they want is to eat humans. Minnow explains it is not like that, and you can tell if it's a good or a bad one by looking into his eyes. Moving on to the next scene. They may be taking a relaxation and having a meal, even as speaking about Joel's diary, where he draws every creature he encounters and writes down its power and weaknesses. He shares that he is from Fairfield and Clyde is stunned because he never met anyone making it alive out of there. Then they break camping because they can either have a meal or take a nap. If they do both, then the creatures might smell the food and eat them while they are sleeping. The duo teaches Joel precious lessons to improve his survival skills. Minnow even makes a great obelisk out of him. When they get close to the spot where their paths diverge, Clyde tries to convince Joel to go with them to the mountains where it's more secure, because there are a lot fewer monsters due to the low temperatures. As he refuses, the woman gets upset because she became attached to him. Joel calms her down and gives her a lipstick, which she significantly appreciates. Clyde then offers him a few final phrases of encouragement and a hand grenade to get him out of a sticky situation. Continuing their journey, they stumble upon a massive centipede that almost eats Boy Joel. Freezing once more, but a flashback takes place to when he was with his mother and father on the day of the apocalypse. He couldn't save them and watch them getting beaten. This makes him gather his courage and shoot the monster, leaving it useless with a single shot. At the same time as sheltering in an abandoned inn, they meet a broken robot named Mavis that offers to power Joel's radio. The fee was long enough to touch Amy, and as they talked, Joel learns that new survivors have arrived at her colony, and that they promise to lead them away to safety tomorrow. A queen sand gobbler attacks Joel and the boy, and they hide, but the boy barks, revealing their location. Joel uses the grenade to kill the queen, but scolds the boy for putting them in danger, prompting him to run away. Joel is covered in poisonous slugs after swimming across a river, and starts to hallucinate due to their venom. He manages to eat some leaves that Clyde taught him to use as an antidote. In such a scenario, he's then discovered and rescued by Amy. They share a brief moment together, and then Joel passes out. When he finally wakes up, Joel is relieved to eventually see the love of his life. Sadly, it turns out he was heavily hallucinating, and he kissed old Pete instead. Joel is added to the new survivors. They are led by Cap, a former Royal Australian military sailor, who has acquired an old yacht. As everyone prepares to leave, Amy admits that she is happy to see Joel, but she has no romantic interest in him, because she is still grieving the death of someone close to her. Joel is devastated upon hearing this and decides to return to his colony. He contacts them over the radio, and learns that their bunker is now dangerous, and that they too must leave soon. Even as talking with them, a man brings Joel a plate of berries and a beer, and tells him they may be dispatched from Cap. Joel quickly recognizes them as the poisonous ones the boy was trying to keep him away from. He quickly goes outside to warn Amy that Cap isn't to be trusted, but she's too drunk to comprehend what he's talking about. Right at that moment, the woman from Cap's crew knocks him out. In the following scene, Joel wakes up tied with Amy and the rest of the colony. The crew destroys the radio tower and briefly reveals their true intention. They want to rob the colony's resources and use them as food for the large crab they've imprisoned to pull their yacht. Cap then releases the creature and proceeds to load his boat. Amy manages to loosen her hands and sets Joel free as well. She tries to stop them, but ends up getting hurt in the meantime. Joel manages to turn over the crab. However, before killing it, Cap makes use of the electric collar he chained the crab with to enrage it, and it hits Joel, inflicting him to faint. Then, Boy returns and saves Amy, who manages to thieve a hand cannon from one of the horrific guys. She runs and fingers it over to Joel to complete off the crab. However, before doing so, Joel looks the creature in its eyes and sees not anything however kindness. Instead of killing it, he shoots the chain to destroy the shade, and the crab is grateful and leaves him unhurt. It then hits towards the yacht and devours it alongside with anybody on board. Joel then advises Amy to go north together with her colony, because it's safer inside the mountains. Before she leaves, he gives her his diary, containing all the knowledge. In the final scene of the movie, Joel and Minnow share a romantic moment and finally kiss. Joel then declares a message to the other colonies, sharing his studies so that they too can gain enough courage and be organized to overcome the outside world. We then see Clyde and Minnow, who were already in the mountains, thinking if Joel will survive his next adventure, giving us hints for a potential duology. So what did you think of this movie? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you enjoyed the film, please like and share it. See you next time if you subscribe for more movie recaps.